Calm down. I'll get everything in order. EmpressTee, good morning. Good morning. How you doing?
Good morning, Rula. Good morning, everybody.
Yeah.
And yes, we got to get these things back in check. We got to get our emotions back on a level playing field, not to dismiss what's going on, but so that we can focus and use our energy wisely because there's enough misuse of energy going on right about now.
Indeed, indeed, indeed. No, normally you send me an email with some photos and so forth to navigate the dialogue. Notice you didn't send any. I presume based on what you've heard this morning, you don't need nothing for sending me them because you're gonna just present the other spectrum of what people need to do, what they need to look out for if their loved ones, if their kids are straying in the wrong direction. Talk to me.
Well, here's the thing. Okay, first let me say good morning, Annie. Hi, Libra. I just gotta say good morning to my family.
Yeah,
But
man.
I did not read your story this morning. As a matter of fact, I have not been on the internet.
Okay.
Good morning, Betty. Good morning, Barbara. All the other people who are in the chat room. I can't always navigate the chat room and talk to, but I am just as passionate about it. I did not read the story, and I will not be reading the story just because I don't need that in my brain right about now. It is absolutely gruesome, but it goes right along with what we've always been talking about. The loss of family structure and just a disrespect for our elders and just for the whole family as a whole. But that wasn't what I was going to talk about today, but in a way it does tie in. You know how the higher frequency is, everything is connected. And so I didn't get to send you anything because I had been really consumed this week with preparing these little ones for getting into the school system. And, a lot of people think that just entails teaching them their ABCs and the 1, 2, 3s, but it's a whole lot more than that if you're passing through my daycare. And the reason for that is because it takes a little bit more than knowing your letters and your alphabets to get along in this world, and that is what is causing all the stuff that's going on right now. When I prepare the children, these are, 2, 3, 4 years old, 5 years old to go to school, I'm preparing them to accept the characteristic of a learner. And by that, you are open to growth, open to positivity. So that not only do you need to learn your ABCs, but you also need to know that there's a myriad of things out there in the world that everyone doesn't know yet and that you still can learn, but that if you're open to it, then you're open to learning. Once you're closed off and you say, well, I learned this, that's all I need to know, then you're closed off to everything. And there's where you get those rogue types of mentalities that go on, the strains of violence, the strains of over-sexuality, the strains of, drug abuse. So there's where you get those kinds of strains. So it starts really at the home. I don't want to make it so simplistic, but it really is simple as that. When I was younger, and even you speak of your elders fondly all the time. When I was younger, that's who was there. That was who was home. I learned to respect my elders by watching my elders respect their elders, so that I got to see my grandmother talk to her mother. You know what I'm saying? And it was with nothing but respect and love, so that I had no other choice but to learn to do the same thing. So when you remove these family structures and these family systems that have been in place, like I always say, naturally is where you're going to start to have breakdowns in the systems that are natural. All this violence and this, it's like an over-violence is unnatural. But at the same time, it's almost expected. What do we expect? These are live wires that we're raising now. There's nobody grounded. We're not grounding our children. We're just sending them out into the world. And what I was going to talk about today, as I said, was about how I prepare these children to go out into the school, how I prepare them to be free thinkers, and how I prepare them to even be thinkers. Go ahead.
No, and I say that's great. But when we think of the global society, and I know you're there in Virginia, where you have a pool of students there that you're working with. Maybe the structure, maybe the environment around you is such that you can accomplish some of the things that you'd like to do. But when we reflect on a place like Jamaica, or some of these other Caribbean islands. It's bad in Guyana also, in Trinidad. Some of these other islands where some of these heinous crimes, these ghoulish acts are being committed. Some of these kids don't have anything to do, which is what Barbara is saying. So even if you were to really school a child properly, like you say, coming up to a certain age, and they're in an environment that has that all they see around them is crime, drugs, guns. And I know the odds of one or two persons coming out of that is real. It's real that can happen. But overall, it's so much peer pressure. It's so much thing that's happening. The question then is, how would you address a case like that, like in Jamaica? And the ideal case that you mentioned in your environment with the kids, and I know you're doing a great job because I've seen the work that you've done. What else you think? Because Barbara says the government not doing enough.
So that's well, here on the government level, first of all, there's several. I don't want to get my pressure up, so I'm going to take a deep breath and do a little woosah so that I can constructively answer the question, because it's not really something that we can tackle in 30 minutes. So I want people to understand that when I give these answers, I don't want you to feel like, oh, I'm just making it so simplistic. I'm on a time constraint, and this is just to get our brains thinking and going in the right direction. So that when you say to me, when what Barbara says, how does that relate? She had some very, very key points. Instead of sending guns, yes, those who are here can make good use. Send the things back that are going to be functional. However, if the people there are not in a mindset to receive the things, you might as well be sending them dust, because it's not going to work. So that it has to be a unit. It has to be more than just we just send them down some stuff and let them have these things that they need. It has to be a little bit more than that. The government clearly is failing the people. So what do? You start to circumvent the government. How do you circumvent the government? The same way that Barbara says. Instead of sending nonsense or porquería, as we say in Spanish, send things of value, things that people can use. Send books. Maybe send a couple of dollars so that they can eat, so that they can get to work, so that they can get to school. Send things that are functional. I always advocate for things like that. But at the same time, we have to have a network. You can't just send it. There has to be people there that are in the mindset that are going to make sure that these things get to the kids that need them. If you got $20 extra, send $20 worth of notebooks to a township that you know. Send $20 worth of pencils, but send it to someone who is responsible. Because in the wrong hands, like I said, you might as well be sending dust. So that it's not so simplistic, but at the same time, it is. And then when I talk about utilizing the family structures, we have to rope people back into family mindset. So that when you do send it down, you're not just sending it to somebody, to cousin it, who's going to say, yo, man, I got 20 notebooks. How much you think I can get for them? See, because that's not the cousin that you want to send it to, because that's just going to perpetuate what we don't want. You understand?
Yeah, I understand.
And like I said, it seems simplistic, but sometimes it is as simple as that.
Yes, indeed. I could present a lot of questions, options, proposals, and I hear what you're saying. I'm not saying what you're saying not making sense, but I just look on the thing on another level, being down there, seeing what I see, and you are right. Because like I said, Cecilia Campbell Livingston was on here yesterday, one of the top writers down there in Jamaica from the Jamaica Gleaner formerly and also from the Observer. She went out and saw these kids, a number of kids at this thing they had down there in Jamaica. And this one child, this 13-year-old child, really stuck at her. And she decides she's going to reach out and help him. And the thing, and ties into some of what you're saying. She says, she on the show yesterday said, look, I'm going to try and help this kid. He needs a shoes. Let's start with the shoes. She wrote me back last night, say she spoke to his sister, and the sister says they would love to get him some khaki clothes to send him to school. I also said to her, is there any way you could see if you could help him fill out a Palace application for a scholarship? So these are the things. We have to reach out, network, which is some of the things you're saying.
Exactly. And like I said, it seems so simplistic, but what you've not only done is on a like a cellular level, you've helped this child's self-esteem. Now that's something that you can't break down.
True.
And that's what and that's where I come in with the higher frequency.
Right.
Everybody likes to talk about on the surface. Yes, we know the surface is crappy. It's crap. That surface is crappy. So what we have to try to do now is penetrate the surface, circumvent the surface, go down to the core. These are the types of things that they create and develop human beings that, like I said, learn to learn to be open, learn to be compassionate. These are the types of human beings that can never raise a gun to somebody elderly. It won't be in them.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Because what you have done is reprogram them on a cellular level, and those are the things that we have to do: create and do more acts of good. I know it doesn't seem like a lot, but these are seeds, and I know, Rula, that people are looking for this quick fix, but we didn't get here quickly.
Mm-hmm. True. Very true. Very true. Very true. Very true.
So when you say to me, what can we do? I still say we have to rope our families back in. We have to make our elderly useful again. They are useful. They are our memory. They are the DNA pattern.
Absolutely.
Once we get rid of that level, what do we have? We're live wires. We're not grounded to anything. We're not connected to anything. We're not rooted to anything.
Oh, boy. Folks, it's 5 minutes on the upside. We're speaking with EmpressTee. As you know, you hear the passion she's coming from. Not touching specifically the situation I presented, but trying to give another perspective in terms of how we can kind of balance some of the things. What we have to do, family, networking, reaching out to build a little youth's confidence. And that is so critical, so crucial. And she's making a salient point here that we need to do more of that. Individuals reach out to go ahead.
And Rula, not to cut you off, like when you say, about the amount of money, that was not about the money. We all know that is not about the money. Mm-hmm. These children are speaking a language that we have taught them over this last generation, and it is a language of violence. It is a language of lack of compassion. It's a language of don't care. Mm-hmm. But you know what? They don't want to be like that, because if they wanted to be like that, they wouldn't be making these statements. When you go out and you kill an elderly like that is a statement.
That is true.
That is not for money. Those kids can get money. Trust me, if you can get yourself and finagle yourself into a position to get a gun and get close enough to kill these people, you can get some money. You can get a little more than what you got. So it's not about that. And that's how we have to start looking at these things. It's not about those surface things. We know it's not about those surface things. People, it's not about phones. They can get a phone. Trust and believe they can get a phone. This is more. We have to start getting things back, like Dr. Ev says, back to the root. We got to go back to the core, back to the source. That's the only way.
One of the, and I'm not sure how many of the schools, but one of the things we've seen, and I know you probably have seen some of them, where we've seen in the classrooms in Jamaica where kids are just beating up one another. I mentioned the other day where this kid had this little girl put her down on the ground, tackle her on her neck and choke her and kick her down on the ground and stamp on her. And these guys that were in the classrooms, they were cheering it on. And it was another little girl, Sister EmpressTee, had to come in and said, yo, you can't do the little girl and with it. And a teacher was at the door, stood there and did nothing. You know,
She didn't know what to do. She shook. And you know what? People say it doesn't happen here. It happens here. It happens here. It's been happening here. These are not new things that are happening. These are not new occurrences. But the problem is that the school system is nothing more than babysitters. It's just someplace to keep these kids while the parents are working. They're not on the street. They're someplace for a couple of hours. They may not be in the best hands, but they're in some hands. And there's a failure there, too. Because, see me, I'm not sending my kids anywhere. I'd rather they be home. If you're going to do nothing right here where I can see you or somebody's going to see you.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Well,
you know what I'm saying?
You know, one of the things is, I think really and truly in all of them schools that throughout the world, they say these cell phones, students carry cell phone to school, tell them not come to school with it. If you come to school, you get suspended or you get expelled.
But now it's almost a safety item. I mean, if I had to send a little girl to school, you best believe if I have to get her a microphone, if that's what I feel is going to make her say she's going to have a microphone in her chest, in her knee, in her toenail, I don't care, because that's the climate that it is. So
yeah,
that,
but it's not proving to be the case, because one of the things is, I think, is these kids know that, look, man, they just take out the phone, they videotape, they send it up on YouTube, MySpace, Twitter, Dig, whatever, and them get hits and likes and them name there.
True.
Yeah, and some of them just do those things just for the fun of it. And when I go to school back in my days, man, I usually say, the other day I was talking to somebody, say, you know, I started school in 1963 when I go Franklintown School, right? And I never learned to read until I was 7, and me still can't read. But guess what? Them did have Facebook now them time. They kind of what me and my brother we sit down and look face to face and we reason things out and we study together or Facebook that. Nowadays you see them Facebook and them Twitter is them rich boy that have them tools that way all of them kids are just flock to it. Get rid of all of the phone and for every one of the kids there.
Oh, exactly, definitely. Or not even so much get rid of them, but teach them how to use them responsibly. Like I said, on some respects, this modern technology has been a blessing because now we're able to communicate. We're able to show people the flaws and where we need to strengthen and galvanize and things. You know, we're able to mobilize in that way. So it's not all bad, but if we can teach them to be responsible, and there's where I say again, it comes from home and it comes from schooling. We cannot have these teachers, babysitters, basically what they are, watching our kids and not teaching them things. It's not about ABCs. It's not about what's in the books. It's learning to become people. It's learning to be socialized. It's learning to have respect and honor and those things that we have removed and replaced with cell phones and fancy clothes and long nails and fake hair. You know, we have to put those things back in. And I know it sounds so simplistic, but it is as simple as that. My children, they have cell phones and things like that, but I bet you when I call their name, they come quickly, and it's with a yes, ma'am. It's not going to be, oh, God, and, they're not coming with a gun. They're not going to gun me down for $5. That's crazy. You know what I'm saying? So
let me just take a little station ID. It's 11 o'clock, folks, and we're speaking with the one and only.
You are listening to RBN, Rule Grounds Network.
Let me say, and I've said it on this show, and I'm going to say it again. It's probably a record. My daughter that went to Harvard University, when she once was 16, right, in her bedroom, she never get a TV in her room. You see, when she went to NYU her first year in college, is when she started. She was 18. At that time, she get a phone, right? That time, she get a phone. My point is, man, me not think you need all them phone business for them people. If them dash all of the phone them and tell them kids, they'll find something else to do. You're
missing an even bigger point, man. You're missing the point that you made her realize somewhere along the line that was not the important.
Right.
And again, it comes from home. We have to tell our kids what is important and what is not. I have teens who are probably the only teens that don't have a phone like that to go and call their friends. It's a device. It's more or less to get Wi-Fi like that. You understand what I'm saying? So that it comes from home. The fact that she went to Harvard has a lot to do with where she came from. because she didn't get the gumption, she didn't get the inspiration, she didn't get that notion to go that far from nowhere. It came from you.
But
it came from your home.
Yeah, and that is the point I'm making also, which what is somewhat is what you're saying, that at home, if the parents set the standards and make them know that them are the parent. Some of them parents, them have them kids, them and them just want them kids to say them are them friend. Them don't know to parent.
Exactly. That's it.
And they let them get away. And they let them get away. Me usually tell my kids, them say, look, me no depend on this earth if you don't like me, you know. Me there as a parent, so me now go do the thing them and say the thing them for make them like me. No, that's not my role. You know, what needs to happen, man? These parents need to act as parents. Don't let them get away with a lot of these things. Hold back stuff from them, and if they accomplish certain things, you know, my kids them when them usually get straight A's, me say when they get a chance to go to McDonald's and go Red Lobster, they have to accomplish certain things, and then they say, well, you will get this, you know, and I think it can be done. Me you talk about this all the time. You come here tell say, boy, sister, me no see where this world ago. It's like it's on a slippery slope. And you say, boy, you see, it can be turned around. But boy, sister,
it can be. Well, it has to. I mean, we have no other place to go. It has to. I mean, and just like you said, we have to change it from the homes. We have to set the standards.
Yep.
Once we allow the government to come in and say, well, look, we don't want you to do this to discipline. We don't want you to do that. True, there were a few rogue people. There were some people that go to the extreme. There's always going to be a few extremes. But what they did was they punished the whole parental system, the whole family system, by removing our abilities to parent effectively. Mm-hmm. So basically, you know, there's laws in place that if you touch a child or if you say anything, you can go to jail.
Indeed.
And you might be very well within your right. But because of the way the legal system is set up, we can't, our hands are kind of tied. But again, there's ways to circumvent it. There's ways to circumvent it, because you can believe when I go out in public, even my daycare children, they're going to behave. I'm not going to lift a finger. Right. I'm not going to raise a voice, because they have already known who I am. They know what is expected when we go outside. And when they don't do it, I give them the disapproving look. Mm-hmm. And they fall back in line. But again, that comes from time in. You have to take the time. We have to start raising our children again. We have to start changing our mentality again. We have to network. As far as with Jamaica, the biggest thing that you all can do, because the way that the money value system, I would take big advantage of that. Since $20 here is like a big fortune there, every time I get $5, $10, $20, I would be sending it to someone. But you've got to have networking. You've got to have people over there that have to be on the same mindset, the same mentality. It can't just be money going aimlessly. It has to be going for directed use. And somewhere along the line, some teachers have to go back. I know how it is to come here and you get caught up in this luxurious, what we so-called luxurious lifestyle with the electricity and all these amenities. But those things fail sometimes. So, Indeed. You know, if some people could just sacrifice and really go back and start a new school, start a school that's going to teach the kids, give them something to be there for, so that they don't have to be fighting. They're bored. Mm-hmm. You understand what I'm saying? They're bored.
Oh, yeah, I agree with you. I agree.
Take them out into the woods. Teach them about farming again. Teach them how to regenerate and how to rebuild their society, their communities. Get them back vested into the community. It's not going to happen, though, because the people there have lost their spirit. Their DNA is down on a cellular. I always talk about that. It's that deep now. They don't even care. That's why they can rape a baby. How can you rape a baby? What can you get? What pleasure can you really get from a baby? None. So you see that it's not for that. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm. These are other things going on. These are people that are lost. This is like a ungrounded. I always talk about live wires. They're not grounded. They're no longer rooted. We've got to get them back vested in life, not just in Jamaica, but in life.
All right, and then assuming all you've said is true, right? We have, let's take the microcosmic situation we have there in Jamaica. Say what you're saying is true. the proposal, the suggestion, and you start to implement something like that as of today, so you're gonna affect some of these younger students that you are working with, say 7 down to 2 years old. But you currently have a large influx of students or individuals that are, say, 12 up to 27.
Well, there's no age limit to changing a person's feeling of self-worth. There's no age limit on feeling good about yourself. So that we can't. You don't have to rule them out and feel like they're lost. They need it just as much, and they can get it too. Right. So whatever you put in place for the younger ones, you can put in place for that age group too. It's just that it's easier the younger they are, because then they grow up. It becomes them. That's who they are. They don't know any other way because that's what they were taught.
Right.
So that, don't think because they're 7 and 12 they're lost. Don't even think because they're 12 and 18 they're lost. I mean, you yourself, that's why you do Palace. It's the same principle. You're helping these people. You're seeing it as just on the surface. Oh, we help these kids get a scholarship. They're going to school. No, you have done more than that. You have changed these people down to their core. You have given them what they only imagined about. So now you've taught them about faithfulness. You've taught them about hope. You've taught them about perseverance. These are things that they're not going to get in a book. True. They're not going to get this in a school. True. These are things that are going to take them further. It's like the saying you always use: teach a man to fish, and you feed him for a lifetime. But you give him a fish, that's what, a day. If you're lucky, if he got family, if you're lucky, if that was a meal.
Very true, very true. Boy, I tell you, I don't know what to say. But I tell you, sometimes I'm speechless. Because, you try, and, you do at times get to, make a difference with one and two of them.
Math and history are just...
one second there. But then you have these others that you wish you could reach out to them. And some of these kids are reaching out, trying to make a statement, because you hit it right. There's hell no way you are going to pump 14 shots into one man, a 72-year-old begging for him life, and get $24,000. So you are right. You said to yourself, look, man, these folks are really making a statement. They're reaching out for help. All right, we have a call coming in. Empress, you don't mind me bringing this call on?
Yeah, no. And then I just wanted to say that, sometimes you say, well, I can't help everybody. But you don't know, when you help that one person, you don't know what that one person is going to be inspired to do.
Very true.
Okay, so it's the ripple effect. I always talk about our interconnectedness, so that if you see the big picture, and if you can be open to the big picture, nothing that you do is too small. Nothing that you do, so long as it's in the right direction, is going to be ineffective. So that, go ahead, I'm sorry.
No, man, finish that thought, because I was going to propose something. So finish that thought and just go ahead, please. Sorry.
Yeah, so that, even the smallest little thing, even just me talking here. No, I'm not a person of money, at this time in my life cycle. But I have so many words of wisdom. I have planted so many seeds just by talking to people that I feel good. I feel like I have not paid a debt, but I have paid it forward, not just for me, but for my generations. My grands are going to live in this world. What kind of world am I going to leave them if I don't try and do something?
Right.
And it's not always about money. I don't believe in the money system. Do I use it? Yes, I have no other choice. But I know that mankind was here before money, and they got along and did stuff, ate, lived, got along well without money. So I know it's not about money, but unfortunately we have to use it because that's what they want us to use right now. So that, because I know the real truth and I'm firmly grounded and rooted, and I understand what it's really about, I don't need money. I could do this with or without money. And I just want everybody else to understand that we could do this with or without money. The situation in Jamaica, it can be changed. Is it going to happen overnight? What do I always say? No.
Right. All right.
It didn't happen overnight, but it can be changed.
All right, folks. All right.
You are listening to RBN, Rule Grounds Network.
All right, folks, it's 12 minutes after listening to EmpressTee with High Frequency. Empress, I'm going to take maybe 5 minutes out of your waiting there. I want to tie this in because I think it ties in nicely with your vision and some of the things you're teaching. It's about a school here in Atlanta, Georgia, called Ron Clark Academy. The population is about 98% minority kids. But I want for the listeners, and if you're looking on the monitor, you'll be able to see it. I'm going to televise it now. I want for people to listen, the articulation of some of these kids, the vision and where they're going and the kind of work that's being done. Kind of ties into some of what Empress is saying, but take a listen.
Some of the subjects at the Ron Clark Academy, the Atlantic Middle School teaches everything from eye contact to the value of friendly competition. It's a method that makes kids want to attend class. Mark Strassman shows us how the founder maintains the fun within the boundaries of 55 strict rules.
This is one school where no one has to be told to pay attention. The class is 6th grade math. And this guy, part teacher,
and 2 negatives make a bigger negative, -3.
part ringmaster, all innovator, founded the academy.
It's hard to explain the Ron Clark Academy. It is a place that's about passion, energy. Why don't you create a school where you could feel the spirit? Wanted kids to walk into the school and say, I love coming here. If you've got individuals who are passionate about making a difference in the lives of kids, they're going to be successful.
Let's start with the building, a 50,000 square foot warehouse in South Atlanta, transformed into the sort of school J.K. Rowling dreamed up for Harry Potter. Every classroom has an elaborate theme. There's a dragon and a 2-story bungee jump. All 112 kids have to be slide certified, a symbol they've signed on for something different.
I love Hogwarts and Harry Potter, and the kids do too. And so we wanted to bring that book to life and that feeling to life for these kids.
Clark teaches math and history, but you need the password, passion, to get into his classroom. He's a former National Teacher of the Year in Harlem, who opened the school in 2007. It's private, nonprofit, grades 5 through 8.
If you were going to use one word to describe the school, what would the word be?
I would describe it as truly extravagant, challenging, powerful.
Students here see the biggest difference in themselves. 8th grader Zion Wynn.
I wasn't as shy as some kids are when they first come into school, but I wasn't even able to physically have a full conversation with someone of your caliber or somebody who is in a higher level position.
But there's a rigor to the magic, a drive to thrive. Clark has 55 rules, a code of conduct that covers shaking hands, maintaining eye contact, and answering questions in complete sentences.
I believe the hardest part is getting used to the fuss houses, we call them here.
7th grader Emmett Eckert.
You basically get fussed out every day for different things, such as not speaking up in class, things like that. And I think that's one of the hardest things to really get used to.
Clark sets the bar high and holds his kids accountable.
Why does every kid in America who plays on a Little League team have to get a trophy? They all ain't that good. You know who should get the trophy? The MVP. And when your baby says, why didn't I get a trophy? You ain't the MVP.
Hi, my name is Kendra Arnold.
This week, every student here competed to be the MVP of the Amazing Shake. 5 rounds that tested poise under pressure.
I need you to sell me this drum.
They were interviewed by lawyers and business executives.
Madam President.
And grilled about current events in a mock presidential press conference.
I want to ask you about terrorist groups like ISIS. Are you considering possibly putting American soldiers into the Middle East after all?
Yes, I am, and I am considering putting boots on the ground.
The 5 finalists were in for a surprise, a trip to New York.
In New York City!
Oh my God.
They visited CBS This Morning on Wednesday.
You know what's really important about that is sense of
All right, ready? Okay.
And in this studio, Charlie Rose had a new co-host.
Welcome to CBS This Morning.
A military helicopter crashes in Florida. Search and rescue teams are on the scene.
Next step, Oprah Magazine and another surprise.
Who is that?
A pep talk on Skype.
No kids, just a surprise.
Caitlin Britton Wheeler was awed.
I watch you all the time, and you're just a role model for me and for my mom. I just love you.
Oh, Caitlin, you're going to make me cry.
Real estate mogul Barbara Corcoran judged the two finalists, 7th grader Caitlin and 8th grader Jacoby Copeland.
You look like
Please. Oh.
She quizzed them about their lives and dreams.
Congratulations.
And the winner was Caitlin.
I'm so proud of you, Caitlin.
What do you want them to take away when they walk into the world?
I want them to have a sense of no fear. I want them to go out in this world and know I am confident because I have the ability, I can achieve this. I want kids to leave here and to go for it and to make an impact.
At the Ron Clark Academy, they go for it every day, like no other school in America. For CBS This Morning, Mark Strassman, Atlanta.
Wow, wow, that is so warm. I want to thank SWA for sending this to me.
Absolutely, that is, and that's what I'm talking about.
Yes, absolutely,
and,
absolutely.
You know, and I, you know, when I went to school, I went to a private school. We went to a school that was very similar to Montessori. As I told you, I was going to talk a little bit about that today and how I style my preparation for these kids to get into school. But those types of educational facilities not only teach the children what they need to know academically, but as he said, they teach them how to be social beings, how to fit in the world with confidence, because that's most of it. If you have no self-esteem, if you have no confidence, what are you going to do? You're not grounded with anything. You just feel lost. And if your parents don't have it and you don't have it, you don't see it from them, you didn't see it this generation, that generation, what do? Nothing. So we have to start breaking the cycle, and those are very good ways of doing it. I absolutely love it. Now, what we need to do is somehow get a palace school going on like that in Jamaica and start. And you just never know where it'll lead. Maybe the government will catch on and say, hey, Rula, listen, you're on to something. We want a part. And then what? You know?
Mm-hmm. You know, as I listen to you, and you know, I shouldn't say it.
Send me, I'll go. If somebody gives me a house to live in, I promise you, I will set it up that I can start teaching these kids in a different style and bring something different. If y'all set me up in a house, I'll go.
I'll send you and Barbara and Nadine Quinn, and I know you guys will make a difference. And you're right. I shouldn't say it can't happen. My thinking why I say it's such a big challenge is that, look, you say if you have a populace of, say, 10 persons you're trying to target to make that difference, yeah, it's achievable. But when you have a cross-section of people struggling all over the place, it's a little tougher. But you know something?
You don't look at it that way.
Yeah, you have
if
to
you look
start
at it
small.
that way, then, yeah, you're setting yourself up to fail. You look
Right.
at it, it's just like a plate of food.
Right.
If you know if you go to a buffet and you say, well, look, I know for sure I like 5 different things. You pace yourself. You don't go and get 5 full plates. You pace yourself. You take a little bit of each one, right? Okay.
Yeah.
So then we have to just keep the ball rolling. We have to start getting ourselves in that frame of mind. Now, you mentioned challenge. Now, what I really wanted to do with you today, Rula, I hope you don't mind I do it like this. I have a challenge for you. Please, I have got to hear a good story out of Jamaica. I can't take it.
Hey, look,
I can't take it. I am so torn. I want to go so badly, but there's a part of me that's like, I am not going. No place near there.
I understand that, but you know, and I hear you. You know, when I pick up these stories, 'cause, you know, I try to look for some positive stories first, but it's so far and few in between.
Well, I'm challenging you. You got to give me some. I need 3 next Friday. I need
Friday.
3.
All right. You got it. Next week, Friday, you will have 3 positive stories on Ruler Brown Network.
Yes,
All
please.
right.
You got it. And then we have to start circulating good, positive stories, because you know how I feel. If we constantly have, it's like a family. If somebody was talking bad about your family, out in the public, out on the internet, always talking bad about your family, what are you going to do?
Well, you know, and you're right. I'm not saying no. Yeah. You have this osmosis effect start to take place. People say negative stuff. They're just gonna want thing negative. You have to present some positive stuff, and that's what I'm about. You know, that's what I'm about. But you can't just say, hey, these other things aren't happening, because sometimes you need to bring it to the fore for people to rise up, and start to take action.
True.
And
so you
get
bring
changes.
it to the fore, and then you get like 3 other stories that say, but look, On the other hand, we still got some good ones.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because I think that a lot of it now at this point is that it's just so much negative feelings in the country. I myself, if I lived there, I couldn't feel good knowing that so much vile and just ugliness is emanating from there. You will feel ugly yourself. You're going to start to feel it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So that we got to start, shedding some little rays of sunlight and little spots in Jamaica. Get the Jamaica Observer on board. Get some more people on board. Let's start showing let's break through this cloud of ugliness and start shining some bright lights in Jamaica. Let's start getting things going. Like, it's enough. It's enough. It's enough.
Right.
I want to go, but I don't want to go. Like, I'm scared. To be honest, I'm scared.
Well, this I hear you. It's my fact. I go to Jamaica. I've been here 40 years. August it will be 40 years. August 29th, the same day we're having our award ceremony. And I've been back home 105 times. And I always got up at Jarrett Lane. Even after I left there a number of years. And the youth them usually say, like, oh, come you come back, you not afraid. I said, no, man, I grow up, man. Why am I afraid for coming so? And the people them down here usually say, look, man, it's not as bad as it sounds over here in the States. My bridge in them come, me hook up with my bridge and we talk about it. That's basically what we say. But them say, no. And sometimes when I'm there, I don't even see it. I don't even hear it. But we that are over here, we see it in the media and it just hits you in the face and you say, wow. It's happening. But, hey.
We got to highlight some of the good. There's some good spots down there. They got it good. You know what I'm saying? Where in the world do they grow fresh fruits and vegetables and you have a hungry village? How? You don't see the fruit? Y'all can't see it? Or like, I need some more explanation. What is it, a gate? If there's a gate, that's something different. Well, what is really going on? You know what I'm saying?
Right. Well, okay, let me say there were a couple of calls that were coming in earlier. If you'd like to call back in now that we finished showing that thing there. It's 24 minutes after. If not, we're going to take it down to 30 minutes after. Remember, 12 o'clock, Clinton Lindsay comes on, and at 2 o'clock, he brings to you the top 30 chart. And also tonight, 25th Century brings to you that top chart, and look out for those two charts. If you want to call in, the number is 770-744-2154. If you'd like to engage EmpressTee, whether you want to provide additional comments, asking a question, making any suggestions. If you have a story that you'd like for us to share for next Friday, you can give us a link here. All right, Empress. What else?
And I've been to other islands. Just so you know, I'm not. I was born here, but I have been off of the mainland. I have been to the British Virgin Islands, to the U.S. Virgin Islands. So I've seen some other ways of living. I've been down south. I've been up north. I haven't been to the West Coast, but I've seen some other ways of living so that, I'm not just sitting here and saying, oh, let's just throw some flowers and everything's going to be all right. That's not what I'm saying. We do have to put in the work, but I'm saying that we have to put in the work. We can't sit around and say, oh, but the government, screw the government. We know what the government wants. They want their money. Let them get their money. We want our children. That's what we need. We need our children sane and healthy. Their minds have to be strong. Their bodies have to be fortified, and we have to provide it for them. We have to. Just like Barbara said, we brought them here, not the government.
Yeah, the government, man. Them government, them, I tell you. I remember I came here in 75, and in 1980. All right, we have a call coming in now. Let's add this person to the chat. Good morning, caller. How you doing? Yeah.
Hey, Empress, how you doing, sis?
I'm all right. How are you?
Trying to keep it up. Down-spirited, but just trying to keep a positive tone on everything that's going on.
No, not
here.
Trying. You keeping it up.
Doing.
You keeping it up. It comes from you.
Yes.
Say it. I'm keeping it up.
Yes. Thank you.
Take that try out of it.
Get the try. The try is no good. The moral test of any nation is how that nation governs and rule and treat their elderly, how they develop and care for their youth. This is, and for the Jamaican government to be inactive in this particular situation proof positive and speaks volume as to where they stand as a government.
Yeah.
And I believe we need to stop being, you know, all the rage that we're hearing and the passion that we're hearing right now is reactive passion. And we need to stop being reactive and be more proactive. When you have in the media, someone could dye their eyeballs black and say that they're satanically worshiping the devil, and they're putting out music and doing things that's influencing our youth. See, Palace does what Palace does, and we do what we do, but we are not enough.
Right.
We are not enough. We are effecting and making changes every day, but we are not enough. The reaction that we're getting from everyone, we need to get that more, but channel it wherein now we can effect necessary change. For one, I believe we need to take a page out of China's book.
What is that?
See,
What is
China,
that? What is that?
China don't allow their government officials to get away with certain things. I remember, I think it was 2 or 3 years ago, they actually executed someone within the government because the toys that they were putting out was made of inferior or some bacteria type product. And they actually put that person to death within the government. Because even though it's, you know, the form of government that it is, they do hold their officials to high standards. We don't. We are allowing these people to come in, sit in seat of rule, taking the money that rightfully belonged to the people, going to the IMF and bankrupting Jamaica, but at the same time is not giving anything back to our youth. I have a young man in Jamaica that I adopted. His mother is them call her Stocky, and the father got her you know, pregnant, got her, you know, had AIDS, and then he ran off. The child was living in Montego Bay in a gully, if you guys know where gully is. And someone introduced me to him one day, and the young man came and he says, "Boss, me just want help. Me nah beg you nothing. I just need help to get myself out of the gully."
Right.
So I helped him. I got somewhere for him to stay. I paid the rent for him to be there, and I got him up. I went down to Jamaica one year, and he's in the market. And I said to him, "Why are you in the market instead of being in school?" And he said, "Bobby, come here." I'm call over. "Bobby, my push card." Bobby come and said, "Bobby, how much subject you pass?" Bobby said, 7, sir. And he said, "Daddy, Bobby passed 7 subjects and I have 7 subjects under him belt. And yesterday I told them I beat him out and make more money than him because I can push card better than him."
Powerful.
You understand? So he might tell me, "Daddy, me respect you, but why go to school if when me come out of school, me not have nothing to lean back on?"
Right.
There's nothing there. The government is not providing anything for our youth. You understand? So I mean, realistically, rule. What may I go say at that point? You understand? There's not much I can actually say at that point. As for, I mean, I've been listening to the program. Jamaica is morally bankrupt. It's morally bankrupt. You know, when you hear the type of music coming out of Jamaica, I am almost afraid to go and tell somebody that I am Jamaican. Because when I go and tell, if I went to a foreign country right now and tell them that I am Jamaican, tell them that, you know, I want to date a Chinese man, that I'm not going to look at me and tell me, no, Jay-Z. Because as a black man, Jay-Z is a representative of me, or I'm a representative of what Jay-Z is. You understand? He's going to tell me, no Buju Banton, because that's who he's taking me to be. So the culture and what we are putting out in front, nobody sees the little that we are doing. Not saying that we shouldn't do, but what we need to do for everyone that is so caught and so emotionally pulled this morning, make we resource the energy. Let's pool that energy and make some necessary strides to hold the government feet to the fire or make them move out the way.
And you're right. Empress, you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay,
That's what I've been saying, that, we have to start doing some things. And sometimes it isn't going to be as romantic as that, going to the government, we got this big petition or this big plan. Sometimes it has to start with just a small little village or a small little community being able to say to the government, look at what we've been able to do. At this point, nothing, you can't rule out anything as a possible source of change. You know what I'm saying? The government is clearly corrupt, so that at this point, if you don't have enough money to buy them out, or if you don't have people right at this moment today, as you're saying, so that you're saying, to use this passion, if you don't have people ready to take office right now today, then we're still at the same position. So that, we still have to do something and not rule out any feeling of passion. Everyone's passion is very important and very necessary. Whether it gets to the government or not, the passion is what's going to make the change happen, even if it's on a sub-level.
All right, we have someone else who just joined in the conversation. Caller, good morning. Please say your name. 3 persons on the line along with myself. We have EmpressTee.
Good morning, Tula.
Barbara,
And, good morning to the Empress and the King.
All right.
Good morning. But, I really want to say that I'm going with what the gentleman just said. We can't excuse the government.
No,
because
not excuse them.
They went in the house to do something for the people. Because I was young to start to say for the people. You understand me? And during my years, I have not seen anything done. And now I'm a grown woman, and nothing still is being done. And right now, those people that are in the house, they're too old to be in the house. They're like senior citizens. And they need puppies, and they need dogs, and they need cats to play and get out of the way and let younger people take over and see if something else can be done, because there are many educated young people in my island that I think can do much better than what these old bags are doing.
And you're absolutely right. And so the point is that we've got to get them into feeling confident enough to do it, because what is the hold back? There's not only people educated there.
What is holding them back, Empress, is that those old bugs are letting them feel inferior. You understand me? So nobody is wanting to step up to the plate because they don't want to go in there doing those things, because they look at it as, oh my goodness me, people are so evil. They don't want to go in there with that kind of mentality. So that is why if they all step out of the way, I'm surprised, you'll be surprised to see how many young people from 35 up who is willing to give the young people a chance, give them a try, at least let them.
All right.
And I agree. And you know what? You're absolutely right. You know something?
Hold it, please. Let's get one at a time. We have only about 20 minutes remaining. We're going to add about 10 more minutes of the 20 minutes. And Barbara, finish your thoughts, and then we're going to make Patrick, and then we're going to go back to Empress. So, Barbara, finish your thought, then we're going to let Patrick provide an input. Go ahead, Barbara, finish your thought.
Yeah, we have to let the young people get a chance. You understand me? And basically, again, about what the Empress said first, like we have to go back to olden days. Rastafari people was teaching the people from way back in the 60s, said that is the way to go. You understand me? But they rebel and they refuse, and this is what has caused the chaos. Even look at dressing. A young girl has no moral, no respect for herself. Her body image anymore. She walks around naked. Why? Because of what she sees on the television. The mother is walking around naked. What do you expect the daughter to do? Her boyfriend is 20, the mother is 28, the boyfriend maybe 20, and the little girl in the house is 13, 14. The man is going to want to sleep with the picnic too. And those are the chaos that is going on in the world right now.
Absolutely.
Something needs to be done. Then there's no teaching from no anger. Everybody's talking.
doing. Mm-hmm. You're right.
Some teacher, we need some example setters.
All right, Barbara, hold your thoughts.
That they're seeing it's ridiculously terrible.
All right, Barbara.
But it's not a righteousness.
Barbara, hold your thoughts here for a second. Let's give Patrick a minute here. I know you're on a roll, Barbara. So, Patrick, you want to append to anything that Barbara just said? Go ahead, Patrick. Barbara, don't go anywhere now.
Passion, Barbara, have nothing but passion. Influence is what is the seed that we're planting, right? And the seed that we plant is gonna bear fruits. And what we're seeing today is the fruits of what's been planted. You know, a lot of us sit on the sidelines and we say, why I don't see me pick me, so I not say nothing. And we get afraid to say anything in the face of adversity. And because of that, you know, the seed grows and here it is, it's hitting us in the face. And it's going to get worse. It is going to get worse, unfortunately. So, you know, we need to unify. We need a unified Jamaica. Even though we're talking about moving the old guards out the way, they're just going to put the young protege that was raised under them to come in. So JLP fixed from halfway tree to wherever, and PNP come in now instead of continuing on what the opposition did, then leave that alone and they go somewhere else and start. So therefore, there's no unity and continuity in the islands. As for Empress, Jamaica is not the United States. I am from Backbush, Warwick Isle. And when Jamaican government decided, when Jamaican government decided there was why raise gas price, Backbush said no, not today, not ever, and we shut down and make sure the government step down and decide, say, well, boy, you know, we don't really have to raise the price, you know, we can't really kind of go on with it the way it is. You won't find that here in the United States. You understand? But you will find that in Jamaica because when we're ready to make things happen, we know how to do it. And we need to hold these politicians' feet to the fire and make them know, say, even though them in them pearly gates and them up on Warwick Isle or Beverly Hills, them can still be got.
Indeed.
If them now go do what we want. We pay them.
Yes, indeed. All right.
We pay them.
All right. Patrick, Barbara, hold it there, Barbara. We're going to come back to you. EmpressTee, I want you to just comment on anything you've heard from Barbara or Patrick. Then we're going to go back to
The thing that I want to say is that what they're saying is so true. However, whether you're from America or whether you're from Jamaica, or whether you're from, I don't care, the way that the thing goes is that the government is not working for you. So, Barbara, the people that you say, all those young people need to circumvent the government. This is the time for them to show the people what they are capable of doing. And how they do that is that they start getting themselves together and they make up little systems and little schools, like I said, and show the people, because it's the people that put the people in government. It's the people that decide who goes in government in most cases. And I think that, again, if those people who are ready to move and take action, I can understand. I don't want to be a part of a rogue government either. But rather, I would rather start to build something new on the side so that when the moment is right, we're in place and we're ready to go. Because right now it's still just talk. But let the people see what they can do. If there's some key people ready, put them in position. Say, okay, look, we'll start here. We'll take one small town at a time. Let's just start here. Let's start an example. It has to start somewhere. So, like, you know, when Patrick says, oh, in the U.S. they don't know how to get things done, Patrick, man, we could talk for days on that. But I'm a firm believer in getting things started. People say it has to be big. It doesn't always have to be big. You cannot reach the government right now, so do what you can. If you got a teacher or two, get them galvanized. Start teaching the people how to think. That's what you need to do. These people right now are not rooted.
All right. Okay, folks, we have it's 41 minutes after the hour. We're going to end this at 45 minutes after the hour. So which means we have 3 more minutes. We're going to give Barbara one last go around, and Patrick could have a last go around, and then EmpressTee will tie it up at the end. Barbara, go ahead, Barbara, please.
Yes, well, Patrick, even though they're still under, but you have to understand there's very educated people in Jamaica, young people, they're very educated, they're smart because we're some smart people. But they don't want to get mixed up with those bags up there. And since we can get things done, Patrick, why aren't we getting things done? The situation is out in Jamaica right now. So if we could afford to make them shut them down from raising the gas price, why can't we shut them down from treating the young people the way they're treating the young people?
True.
And why don't we get back hanging back? Because these people are going to prison and they're eating taxpayers' money. And they're just in there eating and they're doing wrong, cutting off young people. Next people go outside to go use the bathroom. Grandmother goes outside to find little picnic dead. When they find take a stock of uncle breed her and kill her and left her outside there. What is going on? Where did this thing come from? We don't know that most cutting off head. We know about shooting people and stabbing people. We don't know that chopping up people. But you cut off the head clean, just so. Things out of hand. So then, therefore, we know so much. We could shut down Jamaica, man.
Indeed.
Because we ready to help.
Yeah.
Because it is outrageous.
All right, Barbara, we're running out of time. Thank you for your passion. Thank you for your love and your thought in terms of this. And I hear it deeply. I know you feel real hurt. We all do feel hurt when we hear about these madness. It's not just happening in Jamaica. It's happening all over the world. And like you said, we have to take a stand. All right.
We have to take a stand with the island first.
All right.
Yes. All
right, Barbara, I'm going to have to leave it there for you. Patrick, going to give you 45 seconds to a minute to wrap it, and then we turn it over to Empress. It's her segment, so she'll have the last word.
Yes.
Go ahead, Patrick. Go ahead.
All right. So, we hear about all the bad that's coming out of Jamaica, and Empress, you want the good. So here is some good. Inbox Media Group on Sundays, just like Rula have the kids, we also have an 8-year-old, just to show you what the future has in store for all of us. I have an 8-year-old that runs the gospel show on Sunday morning from 10 to midday. She runs the first half an hour, and she's begging me, Daddy, I want more time. Half an hour isn't good enough. So, if you want to hear our future, a nice little 8-year-old runs a radio show and carry a program. She even takes calls. Definitely give us a call. Inboxmediagroup.net.
Yeah,
and, that's it. We just have to hold the faith and keep moving forward.
Indeed. And let me say, I heard her, I'm presuming it's her I heard on a replay you do it on your show for Mother's Day, and she's very good. So folks, make sure you get a chance and check that out. And again, all the folks that are out there tuning in, you see what it means. Sometimes we have these dialogue, it spur other things and it goes on to other things, and that's why I keep talking about Palace, man. I have a big up every day all the radio stations who play the public service announcement, because look, man, these radio jacks have played these commercials. They are also looking for the well-being of Jamaica and the Caribbean. And again, Palace is not a Jamaica scholarship. It's for students in the Caribbean. And I can't say how much I appreciate that, what all these radio jacks have done. And I think I've gone through the names before. Empress?
I need the commercial to rule. I still haven't gotten the commercial yet.
Right.
I needed to push it.
All right, I'll get it to you, sir. Yes, indeed. And that's Patrick from InboxMediaGroup.net. He's the CEO. All right, Empress, thank you so much. Wrap it up. And Barbara, if you want to hold on, fine. Patrick, if you want to hold on, fine. But the last word is for EmpressTee. Go ahead, Empress.
What Barbara finished up with her summary is exactly it. Shut it down. Do something on a people level. We can't sit around and wait for the government all the time, not just here in America, but anywhere. The government is supposed to work for the people, but oftentimes that's not what happens. And there's where the people are supposed to make it be what it's supposed to be about. If you're able to shut things down, then by all means, shut it down. But while you shutting things down, make sure that you have stuff on the side ready to build up, because you don't want to just shut it down and then don't have an alternative for the people, because their passions are going to be high. So you're going to need to redirect. You're going to need to have them, in a position to want to do something. You don't want to just get them riled up again, live wires, without being rooted, without a mission, without being grounded. That if you galvanize them and you say, we're going to shut this down, have a purpose for it. We're not just shutting things down just to shut it down. We're shutting things down because we want them to to pay attention to the education, or, you know, boycott the school. Maybe don't go to school one day. Everybody stay home, go to a church, do you know, go to one of the local churches in Jamaica and have that be a school day. Just, you know, pass out the word. Say, listen, we're not sending the kids to school on Monday. We want them all to come here. We making a statement to the government, and start doing little things like that. You know what I'm saying? And when I say be positive, I'm not saying always be. You know, I'm not.
It can be constructive.
Non-confrontational.
Right.
I'm just saying not negative.
Right.
There's a way that you can do things and push positively, and those are some ways. And so, you know, I'm with you, Barbara. Shut it down.
Shut it
Make
down.
them hear you. Make them hear you.
Yeah, we need to create our website, shutitdown.com.
Okay, and send me to Jamaica. I'll do a school.
Of course, and I make sure.
Patrick, you can come in too and help and speak. And then I just have one final thing. You know, in Jess, we were talking about women going and taking over these governments, but on some level, I think that it's a necessary thing because we as women are nurturing, so that our focus and our purpose and our intent is going to be different.
Go, Hillary.
We're not looking to kill off people. We're more looking to keep them alive longer.
Yes. Go, Hillary.
So, you know, I'm more with that too. And in some respects, because not all women are like that. Because I know you have some women in Jamaica who are in positions of power that are not doing the right thing. So she's not rooted.
All right. Well, I want to thank you so much. What a presentation today. Again, on behalf of EmpressTee with a high frequency, I want to thank her and thank Barbara. Thank also Patrick from Inbox Media Group. You see what it is, folks. You call in and have a decent, passionate dialogue. Folks, I know it touch a lot of people. We have over 20 other stations that are tuning in now. And I want to thank you. Next week, we do it all over again. Sister T, we know you deal with sense of purpose at a higher frequency. Blessed love.
Thank you.
All right. Yes, folks, that's what it is. It is what it is.